Oh man, I think we are live in the building. It's been a while, but peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. As you're coming in, bring all your doubts, your concerns, maybe even some, pushback as your thoughts on veganism and just being a vegan, and bring all that. Right. We're gonna try to address all that tonight, and we'll also address just some opportunities I think that are worth investigating. We always got to talk about the investments. Uh, let's see. As y'all come in, throw y'all skepticism that y'all have in the chat. Peace, family. Throw any skepticism that you may have on veganism, or if you have pros. Um, I think this will be a very informative class, and also try to keep it light and educational too. So let me get these things going. How's everybody doing in the chat? Peace to the God, peace to the cacao God in the building. Albo She Cacao. Peace, God. Um try to think of what else I might be missing. How's everybody's fast going so far? You got one more day and you're free and clear. But let's see. Let me copy this real quick. I think I'll do this real quick. Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna add this to, and I'm gonna share the screen. I'm gonna get this show started in about 1 minute. So I appreciate y'all's patience. What is it? I think it's here. Yeah, bring any skepticism. I know some people who, may be vegan and die hard vegan, and that's cool too. I just want to present just some information in a light way for a particular purpose. But it should be good. It should be good. I'm excited. All right. So I'm going to pull up my screen, and like I said, bring any questions that you have. We got some throttling information, I think. I'm just funny. Peace, sis. How you doing? Peace, peace, peace. You in the building. In the building. All right. As soon as this thing loads up, we're good to go. Internet be slow today. Let's get this show on the road. Come on. It's not loading. What's happening? I don't know. I'll set that aside. Close that out. All right, cool. So I'm gonna add this to my screen. You'll see the screen, right? So you think you're vegan is the topic. We'll also have Q&A, and then we'll also talk about investment opportunities that I think are worth looking into, right? We're not going to present a whole slew of them, but we're going to present a few that I think are worth your attention, right? All right, and then just a couple announcements. Just if you don't know, we are having a community fair in Dallas. So for those who are in Dallas or are coming through Dallas or just in Texas in general, feel free to come up to Dallas. We're going to be at the Pan African Connection bookstore, as we're going to be breaking down some key things that I think are very important, such as removing parasites from your body, generating new stem cells using cacao, and just getting your body in optimal health, right? And this is kind of all playing it together towards why we are having this, I guess, seminar today, right? So this is going to be happening on October the 18th, 5:30. It should say 5:30, I think. No, 3:30 to 5:30. So it'll be all gravy, and look forward to seeing the family there. We'll do bioscans, free bioscans. We'll have some holistic screenings. We'll even have the advanced bioscan who actually want that as well. And then we'll have tinctures and cacao and other stuff like that as well. So, that being said, the big question. So, people who really think they're vegan, not to those who are in AMA or, just in the tribe, right? Peace, God, you in the building. Peace, peace, peace. Why most vegans aren't vegan? Well, just a couple of things that come to my mind, right? Most do not practice what they preach or get too lazy at ensuring that everything meets their ideology, meaning when it is convenient. So they pick and choose, right? So they're like, well, I'm vegan, right? But then if you take them to out of the country and then, or they're on vacation and, they, some of them ain't got the will, right? Some of them ain't got the will. Some actually pick and choose when to apply, right? And that's my main point. And it's very similar to religion. So what we're saying is not religion. What we're telling you is that I'm gonna explain everything. So let's move on to the next slide. All right. Who you may not know this person, but this girl, an Indian girl, died from 8 days. Yes. Some of these people will do some of the most extraneous things, right? And I'm not sure it's a fad. I'm not sure if it's culture. I'm not whatever. But this ain't it, right? 3 days at best, right? So it's an example of what and it gets worse from here, right? Vegan influencer dies of starvation. She was doing a fruit diet and died. Look at this. This person their body was eating at them away. And this is what happens when you're doing things based off of a trend or because it feels good or other people are doing it. This is the result. Person died, And this one this is the worst one. Influencer starves newborn son to death by feeding it only sunlight. What? A newborn who just came into this world, sunlight. You're going to have to make it make sense to me, right? Like, why are you only feeding sunlight to a newborn? And this is what I'm talking about, where these people are doing these trends, these fads, and you can tell he's clearly vegan, right? But these are all trends, fads, and like, oh, this is the best way to go. Oh, okay. Well, let's keep going. Peace, 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 God. Peace. You're in the building. Here's a document from the CIA, right? I know people like, hey, what does that got to do with anything? Listen, man, the CIA had made a kind of for lack of a better term, an investigation type of discovery where they're basically saying that, hey, the people in Soviet and the American people have two different diets. One seems to be lasting a little bit longer, the Soviets, because all they have to eat is vegetables, while we over here eating processed foods, fast foods, all these things, and we're getting fat, dying, cancerous, all this stuff. They say maybe there's a thing to veganism. Maybe if they don't eat as much meat, then we can have more food left over, or we can have peace. You're in the building. And I know people are like, well, that don't matter. I'm telling you, this is it's even worse. Veggie diet could save 8 million lives by 2050 and cut global warming. Okay. I'm telling y'all, veggie-based diet. They're saying that's all you need is veggie-based diet. Half the time, what they doing to the soil in the plants ain't really all that great. Ain't good, right? So these are just some of the things that you should kind of like pay attention to, right? We talked about the CIA, talking about maybe we should make the American people think that veganism is a thing and it's good. And look at what this veggie diet could save lives up to 8 million by 2050. Who you fooling? All right, so there's a lot of misconception. So people think they're vegan, right? They're like, well, plant-based, is only the diet only. And then you got people who are, vegetarians with restrictions. And then you got people who just trend followers. They just like, hey, man, it's good. It's a good way to lose weight. I lost 10, 15 pounds very quickly just eating vegetables and fruit. And, I saw it on TikTok. That's basically how people, get started. Is these three categories. They're like, you know what? I just want to eat meat. I don't want to eat meat. I want to eat plant-based. It's good for the planet. Plants don't mind. Yes, they do mind. They are consciousness as well, right? People get that twisted that plants don't have consciousness. Yes, they have consciousness. So they think that they're doing something better by not eating a whole animal, but you're actually eating another life. So anyway, you get this, right? Okay, this is the main reason why people who think they're vegan aren't really vegan. Some of y'all may have foods that have honey in it. Well, doesn't that come from bees? Right? Doesn't that come from bees? Some people may participate in I'm not talking about people who aren't. People may participate in drinking alcohol or beer, wines. These things have dried out fish bladder / animal bones to kind of help from the fermentation process and stuff like that. That some of these bigger companies are doing. Some of you are eating candy. You still have a little sweet tooth, eating candy. Crushed beetles, right? Crushed beetles. Okay. Other processed foods with hidden animal products, bread, pastries. They have this L-cysteine that has human hair sometimes and chicken feathers. So if you don't be careful, if you're not careful, you are consuming human hair and then chicken feathers. Oh yeah, right here. Marshmallow pork. Yeah. People really, it's just marshmallows. Ain't got no nut pork, right? Orange juice. I know you're like, what? Which you need, right? But they slide it in that orange juice, right? So it's just something that you got to think about. People go to restaurants and they're eating tortillas. Like they get it's just corn tortillas, ain't nothing crazy in it. Or it's just French fries. It's just French fries. Do you know they use lard, which is not from bison. It is from a cow. Sometimes other things, but it's not from bison. So either way it goes, you're not vegan. If you're consuming corn tortillas, flour tortillas, either way it goes. If you didn't make it, best believe there's something in there, right? And this happens a lot. People think they're vegan, but they're really not, and they wonder what's going on with their bodies, right? Certain crackers, like you saw on the previous screen, have meat flavors, animal milk, and they don't say this stuff because they barely meet the requirement of the labeling products and telling you what's actually in them. You'd be surprised. They'll give you rat dookie. Yes, rat dookie. Like, y'all ever seen, this is a sidebar. Like, as much as people don't like the sound of dookie, people are consuming dookie, right? I don't know if y'all seen that documentary. I think of this every time I see this, but like, y'all seen the WWE where Vince McMahon was dookieing on women? That is crazy. Like, this is the stuff I'm talking about. People consuming dookie, right? And they're okay with it. So don't be those people. I know you're like, huh? I know. Yes, dookie. Dark chocolate. I have a sweet tooth still. Again, there's an easy solution for that. We got Abo Shi Cacao. He can supply you what you need, and you can make it to whatever you need. So, but dark chocolate, yeah. They got all types of stuff in there. Animal milk, other crap that you ain't supposed to. Anyway, and then bananas. I know you're like, bananas. What you talking about, Kojo? To preserve the life, a lot of the farmers, to preserve the life, they use this chitosan, which basically comes from shrimp, crab, and other shellfish. So you got to be careful when you're consuming these bananas, right? You got to make sure, okay, where does it come from? How are they preserving it? Um, he said people be consuming beaver glands from rat. Yeah, them jams. Yes, yes, yes. This is the stuff I'm talking about. But like people swear they're vegan, right? People are like, I don't eat meat. All we got to do is just take a look at what you're consuming, and we can tell you, oh yeah, you still eating meat, man. You still consuming meat. You still consuming some type of animal. Oh, if you didn't make it, then how do you know? How you know it's not? It gets worse from here, right? So you get what I'm saying, right, with this stuff, right? And like I said, this is gonna be a good short class just for light fun stuff like that, and then we'll open it. Exactly, the bioscan will tell it all, right? Processed foods with hidden animal products, apple juice, bladders. It comes again. Isinglass, which comes from bladders of fish. Even in your apple juice, if it ain't, I'm telling you, still consuming animal. Chewing gum. You like, well, brother, I got to keep my breath fresh. That's cool. Animal derived glycerin. So it ain't. You still consuming animal. You still consuming some type of animal product. So that's what I'm telling you. Like you think you're really vegan and you think you're really healthy, but you're really not, and you're not vegan. You're still consuming animal. We can see all that. Another thing, just like we talked about before, we talked about previously, is that eating out. Have you ever seen a place? Hold on, let me take this off screen. I'm gonna ask y'all a serious question. Have y'all ever seen a place that says, "Yeah, we have vegan menu, vegan options, but we also have meat"? Cook them on the same platter or the same grill. You better believe they cooking on the same grill. So you know what? Cross contamination is happening. So you get what? You getting those juices in your vegan whatever burger that you getting or consuming, and you still eat meat, right? So you like, huh? All right. So sometimes that cross contamination is on purpose, and sometimes it's using certain oils. They also use certain oils when they're cooking your stuff. And some of those oils and how they're made comes from animal derived products or animal derived bones or whatever, omega-3 acids, stuff like that, or fatties, right? Gel capsules using gelatin. Like, so if you consuming gel capsules, vitamins, whatever the case is, animal products, condiments, sauces, dressings. Some of those things contain shellfish or anchovies, which anchovies are good if they're raw caught. But again, that's still an animal product. That's my whole point. You get what I'm saying? Like, at this point, you're not getting away from it. You're not vegan like you claim to be. You say it when it's convenient. So here's the main thing that I think a lot of vegans are missing, right? And we can talk about this at the health fair on the 18th if y'all want to have a debate about it. But most vegans are missing the following. And you can see via the bioscan, or you could just look visual. You can just see B12 they're missing. Good for the brain, nerve. You can get that in bison or plant-based milks, right? Almond milk, stuff like that. Vitamin D3, you get that in pine pollen. Omega-3 fatty acids, brain and heart, found in wild-caught sea bass, walnuts, hemp, selenium, antioxidants for the thyroid, wild-caught sea bass, Brazil nuts. Again, you want to seek proper supplementation from a doctor that can supply you with the things that you're going to need. You can holler at the She-Wave Clinic. You can holler at Apple She Cacao. You can holler at, the Bear Cub Pirates, and you can holler at so many people. Right. So that's the idea, right? Is it fish DNA? Yeah, fish DNA in tomatoes. See, I also said you're not vegan. So this is not something that we're just saying. Oh, it's based off of fad. Based on research, you are not vegan, right? And this is based off of like what we're telling you and what we're seeing and what's happening. So this is why we're encouraging food science method, meaning let's test what we are eating and see the results of those foods. Show your work. That's the whole point. I'm telling you. Show your You talk about healthy, you this, that, and the third, but you looking like this? Nah, count me out. Look like a lot is deficient happening. Like you should be glowing. Like you taking good care of yourself, you getting the right supplements, you eating the right food. Even if you, again, I don't want to look like my body is eating me out, right? Like you don't want to look like that. So anyway, we keep this thing moving. I think I skipped it too. Yeah. So food science is what we're talking about. So these are the things that you want to be doing. Nutrition. You want to have proper nutrition. So vegans, if you think you're vegan, get with an almond doctor. We'll bioscan you. We'll tell you exactly what you're deficient in, and we'll give you the proper steps you need to actually get your body back on track. You also need to follow up with proper exercise, proper sunlight, not just only sunlight, right? So vegan influencer that would just only feeding his baby sunlight is crazy. Then you need supplementation. You need to do meditation, good rest, creativity, having fun, filling up your tank of your suits. So I mean, cosmology. That's a little bit more out there, for people who want to know about cosmology. You can holler at Yogi, you can holler at Simni, you can holler at She-Wave Clinic. Doesn't matter, right? We'll get you the insights. Foods to avoid, even though you're trying to avoid eating, but these things really you need to avoid. Bioengineered foods is right here, right? When I'm listening. So you see some of the foods to avoid, right? And keep in mind that this is food science. So things may change over time because the environment or what's happening. And so you may have to adjust to what is actually happening because what may be considered not good after doing some testing could be considered good, right? So, but definitely for sure, we can tell you that these things right here, soy, cashews, flax seeds, you definitely want cheese. You want to avoid that, right? These are some good spices, sweeteners, right? That are really good to consume. And again, these are things you want to definitely avoid. Canola oil, palm oil. Do you know palm oil comes from has a derivative of I forget what animal, but there's animal in palm oil. So that's why things that have cooked with palm oil instead of either coconut oil or olive oil or even avocado oil, detrimental to your body, right? So these are things to just avoid. And these are fruits, to eat, right? We have a whole list. You can get this stuff in Heal Thyself Volume 2, right? Here's some food, vegetables to eat, consume, right? Right. And then nuts to consume as well, right? So, all right. So I know you're like, well, I don't know if I can. The food method, if you stay consistent, you follow a specific regimen that's based off of what we can see based off of your bioscan. You're sleeping well, you're breathing, you're meditating, you're resting, you're having fun, you're doing creative things, you stop overeating. And we can check that via the bioscan. So here's the one thing that I recommend people. I know this is just more for the vegans, but it's just for everybody. Even when you go out, which, I know you got to go out, right? One day you're going out, choose the restaurant that meets your lifestyle. And see if they'll be able to work with you, to modify the food cooking to your liking. Like, you need to ask the right questions. Never assume they do things the right way. Just because what it says on the menu doesn't mean that's what they actually do. That things are wild caught. Make sure things are not mixed, like bison and beef, or bison and pork, or bison and whatever. Make sure it's actually pure bison, right? You never, never, ever, ever assume that they're getting it exactly the way you think they should be getting it. So, and the same thing goes with the oil. You got to ask them, okay, what oil are you cooking in? They're like, oh, well, we cook it in olive oil. You're like, oh, okay, that's good. But yeah, we also mix it with canola oil. So it's like a hybrid. Like, whoa, what? Exactly. Yeah, as much as they hate it when my job takes us out, them restaurants. So, yeah, you have to ask, man. You have to ask, man. These people will not do right anyway. So that's what I'm telling you. So, and then you may assume that something's wild caught, but it's really not. Right? You're like, oh, it's your, and they may not even know the answer. If they don't know the answer, you already know your answer. It's probably not. And your stomach will verify all this, right? Once you've been eating, a certain way, your body has become. Why would you ever go back, right? So, Art and Science of Perfect Genetic Health, Volume 1, Healing Thyself by Chief Amaru Namatagashi Ali, also known as Dr. Amaru Ali. Good book to get, good books to have on your shelf. You definitely don't want to, miss out on the knowledge. And there's also another book I recommend. It's a book that I also wrote. It's a dissertation specifically for men's health. It's the Seeds of Life. You can go to Shoewave Clinic, get a little bit more insight. Like, I'm very passionate about making sure men's health is like sharp, all the way around, right? So, oh man, I appreciate that, God. I appreciate that. So make your health a priority. You know where to go. SheWaveClinic.com, and we'll get you right. All right. So let's talk about investment opportunity, right? This is an investment opportunity I think I would recommend, right? Why would I recommend this? Because you can actually invest in this. This is a marketplace for gamers, right? And as we know, gaming, I'm telling you, gaming ain't going nowhere. But what they have is that they have a $7 million people base where people are flipping and shifting games and stuff like that. And I think I'm trying to remember if I go to the website, I think the minimum investment is 300, I think. Let me double check. But I was looking to this because I was like, given just what's happening and the trends when it comes to gaming, like a lot of people are gaming, and I think you can make, like I said, I think you can make some good money off of this. But again, I'm not sure. So I look more into it, but think of this as like the eBay for gamers, essentially. So you can basically sell and flip unused game purchases to other gamers. So that's how I would view this in a nutshell. So how many people like buy stuff, buy apps that app games that maybe they just didn't use, or maybe their children bought it accidentally, and it's just sitting there unused, undone, nothing's done. So it's basically a digital marketplace for people to sell their games, unused games, to people who want to buy them, right, at a profit. So there's about 80 million product listings and $200 million in transactions on this platform alone. So the name of this I guess the name of the company or the platform is called GameFlip, and they already have like they've raised $10 million already. Um, and they also have backed VC, so venture capitalists that are actually backing them up. So it may be something to look into. I know I'm definitely going to look into it because it's not bad for $300. You never know what could happen, right? You can always obviously put more, but that was just the minimum 300. So it's just something to think about. Um, Another one that I would tell you to also invest is getting your tribal FBO created. Why? This is the best investment that you could ever make. I'm telling you right now. Why you want to do this? Because everything that you do moving forward will be tax exempt. All the things that you may be operating, nobody's going to be auditing you in your business. You're not having to fill out a return document for 990, like they do at the IRS. No one can take away your tax exemption right. You're not subject to public accounting records or scrutiny for non-reporting, stuff like that. You never have to worry about that. A peace. You in the building. A1 day one. Plus it's tribal, right? And then you get the tax deduction donations that people can, obviously when they donate to you, they can write it off on their taxes, right? Like this right here, best investment that anyone can make. If you want more information about it, you can go to shabazassociates.com or you can go to honorgovernment.org. It doesn't matter. Either way, right? Best investment you can make. So I'm not going to be here long. I just wanted to make a quick video and just like a quick poke at, people who are still, vegan. Nothing wrong with that. But, I definitely want to poke at it because, again, you're really not vegan. Based off of what I'm seeing, you're really not vegan. So you can try, but unless you're doing things fully, and we didn't even talk about clothes. We didn't even talk about makeup. We didn't talk about none of that stuff that people are utilizing, right? If you're really going to be vegan, like this is the thing that you do, that means it should be off the plate. It should be clothes, your makeup, shoes, cars, whatever. I'm taking it there, right? But you get what I'm pointing at. You're really not vegan. That's my point. Because no matter where you're going, if you're not carefully looking at the products, you're consuming some type of animal product or bug, whatever you. I'm just telling you right now, right? So, as a quick reminder, I know, and you can ask questions in the chat, but we have that community health fair, October the 18th, 2025, 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. If you're in Dallas or if you're coming through Dallas, hit us up. Let us know. We'll be there doing bioscans, busting down on cacao, educating you on how to remove parasites from your body, how to get your body in optimal shape, right? So again, you can check the homework, you can check the facts. But what people are telling you in the chat and also what I'm telling you in class is that products are really not vegan friendly. Most products are not. They got some type of animal built into it, and you may not be aware of it or not. So then the real question is, are you really vegan? No. So anyway, this was just a light class, y'all. So we'll come back more with either some economic stuff or more health stuff. I probably might keep it more in the health stuff just because I think that's very important. But yeah, hopefully everybody has a great fast. I'm about to go wind down myself, meditate, make sure I stay stress free. But we'll see y'all next week and let us know what you want to talk about. Peace, family.